Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. I have changed the name of my podcast, and the first guest on this new podcast, so to speak, is Dazim. Dazim, thanks so much for being here.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I really enjoy your podcast and, I learn a lot, quite a bit actually. So really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, for sure. And Dazim, we were speaking earlier about criticism and just dealing with people, and you let me hear your thoughts on criticism. What do you think about it?
Criticism. I mean, criticism is essential to every situation that we have in life, whether it's our mom, dad, brother, friend, whatever. If we're doing something wrong, we should be able, and they tell us that we're doing something wrong, we should be able to take it. You know, this day and age, social media, we live in a world that you'll get canceled for something that even if you say something correct, you'll get canceled for it, which I don't believe. I believe that when we do something and we did it wrong, it's always important for us um, to learn from our criticism and learn from our mistakes. And when somebody points it out to us, we should accept it and be like, you know what, you're right, and improve upon it.
You said something interesting there. You might get canceled for doing something correct or something right. Why do you think people cancel people if they're doing something right?
That's a great question. I feel people these days don't want to hear anything negative, quote unquote, to them. So when I tell you some, hey, what you're promoting, what you're doing something, that's not right. And then they're like, oh man, but that's against me. Oh man, I'm gonna get all my friends to shun you out, not talk to you anymore, maybe even put you down on social media, all this stuff, bro, because you said something negative to them, and which was actually something positive that would have helped them. And they just said that like you were attacking them in a sense. And I've had many instances where my own friends, right, or friends that I, quote unquote, friends I had before, where I would tell them something, hey, improve on this. Don't let this happen to you, right?
Well,
Please
one
don't
thing
do
I'm,
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm just
And they,
sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off or anything. Go ahead.
mhm. Oh no, so like I've had a lot of instances where people would just not take criticism, right? Something that would help them, and they think it's more of an attack, which in my opinion, it's like we all need criticism to learn from our mistakes. If somebody's watching it and seeing it happen, you know what? We should be able to say, you know what? We're doing something wrong, and we should be able to fix upon it. I feel these days we're just way too sensitive or even just not willing to learn from our own mistakes. You know, that's how it
Yeah,
is.
telling the truth, it can be a scary thing, huh? It can shun you. I think that's why people lie. When they don't if you're not being criticized for the right reasons, so to speak, I think it's because they're afraid telling the truth. Would you agree to that?
Exactly. Because I've noticed with a lot of things is that when you tell them the truth, it just kind of, have you ever had a feeling with your own parents where they tell you something you did wrong, extremely wrong, and then it just stung your heart? Like it just like you just had this really aching feeling like, man, that really sucked. And then they yell at you for it or they do something, right? That's your parents. Your parents can say whatever you want. But when you hear from an outsider, you're thinking, who the hell is this guy? Who is this guy to tell me, right, that I'm doing something wrong? Oh, and I'm not going to take that. And somebody's going to say, no, I'm definitely not going to take that. So I'll tell you one thing. If we ever want to grow as a human being, learn from our mistakes, take criticism, learn, and build upon. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, very true. Going back to that thing, why do people get canceled for doing something right, though? What is your take on that? Like, what do you think is going on there? Because if they're doing something correct, if they're being true, and they're being canceled for it, I feel like that has something to do with the lie. Like liars are pointing at them. I know it's a
Right.
bit of a strange way to put it, but
It is a strange way. And it's a strange it's not
yeah.
just a strange way, it's just like a strange thing that happens. When somebody's
Mhm.
telling the truth, they're getting canceled, right? I mean, think about it, because they're saying the truth. So this is my thing, and this is where it comes down to. People these days, in my opinion, at least I've seen it with the majority of people, when you go on social media, you see it on Twitter, you see it on Facebook, you see it on Instagram. When you say something that could be possibly improving that person's life or something that could enhance that person's life, and they say simply, hey, fix this, this is not correct what you're doing, they're going to look at it more as an attack and feel that it's a insensitive thing that you told them. I should be sensitive and not tell you the truth. So these days, we're afraid to even offend somebody, even if we tell them one thing.
Mm.
So, for example, you know, I've had people tell me like, you know, that I sometimes get angry and that I shouldn't be angry. And stay cool because I do have a tendency to get hot-headed, especially if it's a really situation that I'm really upset about. So they tell me this, and you know what? I'm like, yeah, you are right. I gotta fix that. I
Mm.
gotta make sure that you know what? I gotta do it. So this is my thing. Don't get
What? Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
The things that you're saying remind me of a quote from Robert Greene, and he talks about how if you don't know yourself, you'll take everything personally, and that includes
Right, of
criticism.
course.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
And that's a very true statement. And you know what that's called? Self-reflection. What he's saying is self-reflect. If we're
Mm.
not able to self-reflect ourselves, then how are we going to change? How are we going to change the bad habits that we have? And then we keep going into this dark realm that we just completely like, you know what? I'm never going to fix myself. I can't change for the better. And that's what
Mm.
as Muslims we're supposed to do every day is to be better every day. But if we as Muslims are canceling other people and other people are canceling us for saying the truth, how is in general a society supposed to work and even tolerate each other, right? And actually improve on things, right? Like I have firm beliefs about certain issues, right? But I know like everybody has their own opinion, okay? So canceling somebody just because they just simply said like, I don't know, dogs are just messy and they cancel them. So now what's the point? What was the purpose of that? He just said dogs are messy. That's his opinion. And he said cats are better. So I'm like, okay, that's a opinion of his. You should be able to say it. That's why I feel like, even that First Amendment that says freedom of speech, that's like a irony. I feel it's an irony now that we're not able to say what we want to say now because we're afraid of somebody saying being afraid of and wanting to hurt other people's feelings. I'm not trying to,
Do you get afraid of offending people in your personal life? Like when you are you someone who's straight up with people, or do you think like sometimes you kind of sugarcoat things a little?
I'm a very straightforward person, okay, when it comes to matters, especially if it's something that is very wrong, right? It doesn't matter. I don't like to keep it sugar coated. I'm being honest with you. And that's how I'm a coach and I tell my kids, I coach junior, I'm a basketball coach. I love basketball, bro. You know me. I coach elementary, junior high, high school kids. Okay. I even worked on, obviously you know me from the Shura last year, right? I'm
Oh,
like,
damn. I forgot
yeah,
you were on that thing. Oh
yeah,
my God. That's so
yeah,
wild.
yeah. So
I
it's
just,
like,
oh, you, damn, damn.
oh yeah.
No, that's
So,
so wild because I remember like I would see your picture. I was like, I've never met this guy in my life.
of
And then I
course.
met you like recently. It's like, oh shoot, that's the dude.
Oh yeah.
Wild.
And that's the thing, like I don't have social media, so like I feel so blessed not having it because it's like very toxic. Like yeah, I have WhatsApp, I have YouTube, I even have Be Real. I guess Be Real is a popular social media, but like
Oh shoot, that's right. You were
yeah,
on my Be Real when I used to use it. Damn. I
yeah.
forgot about that too. How wild is this? You're the man who always posted the Be Real on time. You know, I,
Oh
I
yeah.
I applaud you for that, man. I feel like everybody I had on there, they would post it like late, like when something cool was going on, right? But like
Exactly.
you, it was always like, like just you in the moment, like sitting in front of your laptop or something in bed. It's like, damn, this guy's keeping it real. Tell me about that, man. How do you keep it real?
It literally is in the name, bro. Like be real. Don't be
Yeah.
fake. It never said be fake, bro. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If they wrote be fake, bro, I probably would have not gotten the app. It literally
Mm.
said be real. I just wanted to have connections with friends, bro. I mean, that's all I had. Because like I met so many great people and then they're on this be real and they just like show what they're doing for the day. I thought it was that's something nice. So I just simply like if I'm doing something stupid or just laying down in my bed, right? I put it. It's literally saying be real, bro. Like I
Keeping
just
it real. Like
I'm
the
keeping it
Jonas
real. Like
Brothers.
I'm telling you, bro, my one pet peeve, especially like in general, I loathe being fake. I loathe like the feeling of somebody being fake, right? Or trying to act cool or, just in general, like this whole idea of seeking attention to me is just like mind-boggling. It just I tell you, I can say I just hate that. Okay. It just
Have
really
you have you ever
gets me.
in your life been fake though?
I have. And that's what I've learned, right? I learned from my failures because I've always wanted to be the guy, quote unquote. I wanted to be him, right? I wanted to be all that, right? But I noticed one thing in me is that ever since I got into college, I realized like, everybody has their personality. Everybody, you know, when you're put in a big position, when you're put in, you know, tough positions, a lot of people try to take advantage and just maybe try to act cool or be the coolest guy around. Oh yeah, he's the president of so and so club. He's the school, best, he's the star of the team. You know, I've always had that in high school and as a kid, and we all kids have that. But as I grew older, I realized like, you know, the most popular people tend to be the most depressed people.
Why do you think that?
And yeah, and I definitely think that is because I feel like, they don't gain a satisfaction of themselves, rather that they need the satisfaction of others. You know, think about it. When you're not satisfied with yourself, right? Allah has given us all a personality. Allah has given us a character within ourselves. Why can we not be ourselves? And why do we have to adopt to other people's ideas? Like that's you. If I know the most popular guy in the school, right? I'm being honest, I could care less about him. I could care less about him. If he's a good friend to me and he's a good friend with him, okay, I'm a good friend of his. That's fine. But I don't have to follow everything that he does just because he's popular.
There
Okay.
you go. Yeah. I
And
like
and
how
I
you said that.
yeah,
That's what it was making me think about was how it was something so important that came into my mind when you said that. I've forgotten it right now, but please do continue.
yeah, I mean, think about it. Like I'm right now I'm starting the Muslim Business Student Association. I really wanted to obviously get on this podcast and kind of talk about it as well. And this organization helps to build obviously professional leaders within the Muslim community, right? And obviously learn about Allah, the Islamic way and whatnot, but also learn the business practices, right? Within Islam, obviously, but learn Islam as a whole. So this is not only open to all majors and business majors. Yeah, we're focusing primarily on business, right? But and we teach business ethics and all this other stuff, but we also teach Islamic ethical values as well, Islamic model, right? And it's open to not only Muslims, but non-Muslims. Because let's be honest, if a non-Muslim finds his way to Islam, just to this organization, I mean, think about the barakah that a lot of people will gain by talking to non-Muslims and making them Muslims, bro. And not just this, even if they don't accept Islam, they will maybe learn something that's true and to their moral standard, whatever moral quote unquote, picture they follow, maybe they'll learn something from the Islamic value that, what, Islam says this, and I actually believe in this. Although I'm not Muslim, hey, maybe there's something correct in the Quran that, talks about character and whatnot. And I try my best with this organization, not only to build better Muslims, but also professional careers and be successful in their careers and build a better community every single day, a better ummah. You know, we have a great team. We just got approved 2 weeks ago. We're really excited, and we're possibly even going to have our first event, inshallah, very soon after Ramadan. Uh, and that's what we're planning for.
Hmm.
Yeah. But to really go off of that, seeking attention, this organization, especially with Muslim organizations, we all need to have a mindset. And this is not just for, even for MBSA, MSA, ISGH, ICNA, Islamic Relief. If you're put in a position of leadership, even if you're the president of the United States or even China or somewhere else, know one thing: you serve the people, not yourself. You serve the
Ah, okay.
people and not
This is
yourself.
something. This is something I was thinking about with that popularity thing. It was
Hmm.
at some point I feel like you begin at some point you yourself you realize that you cannot fill yourself, and you realize what can fill you is the service of others in serving others. I think that's what it is. Something along those
Absolutely.
lines. I think that's what I was thinking about.
Absolutely. And this is what
Yeah.
this organization has to offer. Like, I'm not doing this because I am truly wanting to seek attention. No. If that's the case, bro, then it's gonna do more harm to me and more harm to others than build my character. I'm doing this because one, I saw that there is no, like, I'm telling you one little quick little story. I was actually heading to campus with my brother, and I told him, hey, I'm trying to look for student organizations and whatnot to maybe sign up for accounting and whatnot, because I recently got my internship and I wanted to join some clubs and whatnot. And my brother notices one thing, he's like, there's no Muslim organization. And I've been wanting to start my own organization for a very long time in Bauer, and not just in general, in UVH as well, with Asad Kabi. I think you did a podcast with him, and we wanted to
Your
start something.
cousin.
Yeah, my cousin. And I wanted to do something. I was like, oh man, this clicked. And I was like, there's no Muslim organization in Bauer. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna make this a Bauer organization. We're gonna start something for the Muslims, the Ummah. So I'm like, let's do it. And here we are now. So, doing this for the sake of Allah, this is the key thing for me. I don't want to seek attention. If I don't have that intention of doing it for Allah, I'm screwed. Not
I
just
like
here
how
in
you
this
said
dunya,
that.
but in the akhirah. Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's really cool how you took the initiative to do something about that. Most people, they kind of linger in the stage of thinking and thinking and thinking. Oh, like, yeah, I'll do it maybe someday. But you actually did it. It's really cool. I applaud you for that, taking the initiative. There was something you had mentioned earlier about like being a president. And I think one of my pet peeves is when people tell me I don't have time. Now, I don't know like their lives, I don't know all their circumstances, but I always think to myself, if Donald Trump has time to sit down and have a meeting with the Nelk boys or something like that, nobody on earth has an excuse that they don't have time.
absolutely.
Baffles me. Well, what do you make of that? Like, I think for me, it's when I hear people say that it's imprecise language, or even if they say like I'm busy too, it's like imprecise language. I feel like
So
they could say, "Oh, I actually have more of a priority playing video games than doing
mhm,
that." You know what I mean? Something like
right.
that.
So that's the thing. We set our priorities wrong, all of us as human beings, in my opinion, for the most part. And what do I mean by that? You know, what do we when you see like a president, like you mentioned Donald Trump, right? That man, you know, but like I'll tell you one thing, you know, just in general, it doesn't matter about Donald Trump, doesn't matter about anybody else, right? When you're put in a position of power, use it correctly, use it correctly, use it correctly, use it correctly. I'm going to emphasize that again because when you are in a position of power, you are given power to take authority and basically serve the people. And I mentioned that many, many times. So when you do it for your own purposes and for your own self, right, you will not only maybe hurt people along the way, right, but you may even hurt yourself. I'm
How
not
do you
saying,
strike the balance for yourself? Because I imagine there has to be a little bit of that where it's like, hey, I'm also doing this for myself. So how do you strike that
oh yeah,
balance?
and you know, even looking at it from this MBSA perspective, the Muslim thing, it's called renewing our intention, right? And this is something I've learned from quite a bit of people. Yes, sometimes we do tend to do things that we want, but we don't let that control ourselves, right? We always have to remind ourselves, like, okay, yes, I'm like, for example, let's say I'm bringing a big celebrity in, right? Maybe I'm bringing
Mike
in
Tyson.
Mike Tyson. I'm bringing in, who knows, Omar Suleiman. I'm bringing all the good ones, all right? And they're coming to my event. Am I doing this for myself or the sake of Allah now? I ask, that's the question for me because I have to, in that self-reflection that we talked about before, I have to self-reflect. So if I don't self-reflect on myself and know and renew my intention, like, you know what? No, I know this is very exciting. I know this is coming in, but remember my intention is to serve. Like it just have it
Yes,
conscious, bro.
I really like this because you're
Yeah,
connecting it with that Robert Greene quote about
yeah,
if you don't know yourself, you take everything personally. And you keep mentioning
exactly.
this like for the sake of Allah, because it's like um I had shared a story with you earlier, right? A lesson with you earlier about Moses and Khidr and how that journey is testing Moses's patience. What I got from Noman Ali Khan when he was discussing this was that sometimes you'll treat people good, but they'll treat you bad, and you don't understand why. You don't know. You just have to be patient because that's just like a little pixel or piece. You don't have the understanding. There's like a bigger portrait that like it's that thing, we don't see the bigger picture in front of us. And so the way I was connecting it with this thing that you just mentioned is you keep mentioning for the sake of Allah. Well, to know yourself, direct yourself for the sake of Allah. And that way you won't take things personally because you'll recognize that, hey, I don't see the whole picture yet. This is just a piece of the mosaic. I think that's very fascinating.
That is fascinating. And to go off of that story, I feel like at times, you know, we ourselves kind of lose ourselves, right?
Certainly do.
We certainly do. We're all human beings. We lose ourselves at times, but what's the whole thing? That's why Allah's attributes, his 99 names, the two names, Al-Ghaffar and Ghafur,
Say
the
them
most
again.
forgiving. Al-Ghaffar and Ghafur. He's forgiving. He's the most merciful. Think about it.
Mm.
He's very forgiving and sincere. So knowing that his forgiveness is there if you astray is something key to understand. So yeah, that doesn't mean you go on and keep on being arrogant, sin, do whatever. That's like, that's going off a tangent things, but like, in my opinion, if you seek the forgiveness of God and you truly want to improve, you won't do that again. And that's what he's emphasized. Allah has emphasized this multiple times. Just because you seek forgiveness doesn't mean you go back and do it again and seek it again. Because now you're playing a game with him.
Intentionally, right? You don't do it
You're intentionally
intentionally.
playing a game. That's your intention.
No,
have
as
a
in,
wrong
yeah,
intention.
I'm
Yeah,
saying, because we discussed this as well, that as human beings, we're so fragile and weak that we will sin and make mistakes over and over and over again. But that doesn't mean that we intentionally do it again and again.
of
It's like
course.
it just kind of happens.
That's the
But
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. When you do it again and again and again, that means you're not sincere about it. You're not really sincere at all. When you keep asking for forgiveness from somebody, let's say for you, for example, if I wronged you and I sought your forgiveness, yet I do the same thing again, forgive me next time. Then again, I do it again. At some point, right, you will literally say, no, I'm done with you. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Okay. You keep saying it that you'll not do the same thing again, but you keep doing it again. And now you expect me to forgive you. No, I won't forgive you.
isn't that the interesting thing? That's the way it
Yeah.
is with mortals. But with
That's with
God, it's
mortals.
like, no,
But with
I'll still
Allah,
forgive you.
it is completely different.
Yeah.
You keep doing it again and again and again, He will forgive you. But do not take advantage of Him, of His forgiveness. Do not.
Yeah.
Because at some point, if He knows your intention is wrong, I don't want to know what's on the other end of that wrath. I never understood religion in the first place, to be honest. I'm Muslim. I used to pray and whatnot, but I never understood. I had some understanding, but I did not have a deeper understanding as to like improve myself, right? Like I was just a normal Muslim Indian guy walking around and having fun and doing my salahs just like a chore. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
And when
still shocked
somebody,
you're Indian, man. I've always thought you were Pakistani, but go ahead.
but you know, I've learned from that one thing. And when I entered college, I'm like, I need to grow up. I'm being honest. I after graduating from high school, grow up, you know? So
That's deep, man. The way you
yeah,
said that in this context, because faith, I feel like to some extent, faith and growing up are connected, to
they
be
are.
honest. And I kind of scratch my head and wonder how people, yeah,
They are.
I feel like they're
They're
connected in some way.
they're they're very connected. Think about it.
Well, why do you think they're connected, growing up in faith?
Let's say, for example, I have family members within my own family that I feel, in my opinion, Allah knows best, but when I see it, they're not connected with Deen as much as, you know, maybe some other people that I know outside. I will never say myself because I don't want to be arrogant and I don't want to ever be looked at as arrogant and whatnot. I know I still have to improve every single day. So maybe I'll look at it from other people's perspective. I know there are other people better than me. But going back on that, I feel that when you have faith, that not only you believe in yourself, you believe in God, right? You can grow and be who you want to be, but the right way. And what do I mean
Mm,
by the right way? It doesn't mean that somebody just starts, not when they find God and do this and then they like start sinning and whatnot. Oh yeah, I'm going to be a drug dealer. Oh yeah, I still believe in God, but I'm a drug dealer now. Look at me, I got the money. No, you're not. You're still in the drug business, bro. Like, come on, right? That's not right. What I am saying is though, something that is within the Islamic, I'll look from the Islamic perspective, okay? Something that is halal. For example, let's say I'm a business owner of a, I don't know, I'm the owner of Apple. I mean, it's phones, it's halal to a certain extent because I'm just selling phones and whatnot. If I look at it from that, right? I'm a millionaire from that. And I not only worship Allah, I love my deen and whatnot, but I grew from that. I had faith in myself to become something good for this dunya. So look at it from that perspective, right? That's how you grow not only with faith, but yourself as well. So growing up means that you change yourself for the better. That's why we always look to our elders because they're wiser. They've gone through the experiences, they've grown up. Okay. That elders, they know that when it's time, their time is coming to pass. Everybody knows that everybody's going to die at some point. Everybody's going to pass away.
it's funny
But some
you
of
say
us,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, Hamza Yusuf, he had an interesting thing he said once. He was like, He used to work, I think, as an RN, and he could see some people that
Yeah,
were
my
like,
mom's an
in
art.
their final days, and some of them looked ready, some of them didn't look ready at all.
Oh
It's
yeah.
interesting.
So,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like I learned something about I went to Jummah today and I learned a khutbah about taqwa. We ourselves, when we're in the month of Ramadan, we
What
take
is
Ramadan
taqwa?
for taqwa. I feel taqwa is, I think taqwa is means the faith and changing yourself. I have to look
God
it up.
consciousness.
God consciousness, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
And
you're
that's
good.
having taqwa in Allah, the God consciousness, knowing that Allah is there and not doing something that is wrong is really, really important. Like, for
Mm.
example, he gave an example that we are not changing ourselves till death. Think about it. Like, we do something wrong, but we're still not changing that habit until until we die. Maybe that habit is still not gone, and who knows will Allah forgives it or not. So we every day when during Ramadan, even this is a time to change. This is the time to basically learn from our mistakes, change, and we can be better human beings every day. That's why Ramadan is special. But some people don't like to look at that, and some people actually use it for other means. They just look at it as eating, not eating till sunset. That's what they look at.
Okay, Tazim. So I'm curious, man. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you felt like you wanted to say, but you didn't get a chance to, or something on your mind that you wanted to express?
Um, I'll just say one thing, man. We as human beings need to really, I felt like, obviously with limited time, I felt like one thing is for sure. We always need to not only learn from our mistakes, not just take criticism as like something that is attack. Criticism is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It helps us improve every single day, whether we did something wrong or not. Because let's be honest, how will you know if you did something wrong without somebody telling you that you did something wrong? Or you self-reflecting, knowing that it's wrong, and you learn from your own self. That's also criticism as well. So we as people need to understand that learning from our mistakes and accepting criticism is important to our success. And also having the self-confidence to also believe in ourselves that, we can change for the better, right? I talk about with my players majority of the time when I'm training them, I'm like, can you do it? They always tell me I can't do a left-handed layup, shooting near the left side of a basket near the hoop. They can't do a left-handed layup. I'm like, how do you know you're not going to be able to do it if we don't try it? To be comfortable, you got to be uncomfortable. That's how
Yeah, I love that you said that, man.
yeah,
How do you know if you won't be able to do it if you don't try?
exactly. And
Yeah.
and I really hopefully everybody, I want people to join obviously the Muslim Business Student Association. We have our website and whatnot. I'll definitely share it and market it soon. We have obviously great events and whatnot, and we hope to get started soon, and I hope everybody can join. So,
Yeah. Again, that's cool that you began that initiative, man. You are one among many who took a step. So, but thanks so much for being here, Tazim. It was fun, man.
of
I like
course,
this
thank you for
conversation.
having me.
You take care, my friend. Stay safe, yeah?
Yes, sir.